On April 19th, 1995, hundreds of federal employees, contract workers, and children of the employees entered the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building, located downtown Oklahoma City. At 9:02 a.m., a renter-rider truck carrying roughly 7,000 pounds of explosives detonated outside the federal building. The explosives destroyed half of the 9-story building and resulted in the deaths of 168 people, including 19 children who were in the daycare located in the building. More than 600 individuals were injured during the time, and the bombing became the deadliest act of terrorism on the U.S. soil. As you can see on the right-hand side, we have a picture of the building before the attack, and here's a picture of the building after the attack. Analysis of terrorist actors. The primary perpetrator, 27-year-old Timothy McVeigh, was a Gulf War veteran intensely influenced by the anti-government extremist ideology, which began during his years in high school. McVeigh viewed the federal government as a tyrannical and believed violent actions could be a justification. His motivation stemmed from conspiracy theories regarding federal control, anger towards the law enforcement, and events such as the 1992 Rudy Bridge standoff and the 1993 Waco siege, involving the Branch Davidians. McVeigh was not alone. He was supported by Terry Nicholas. Nicholas and McVeigh met during their enlistment and became close due to their ideologies against the government. McVeigh and Nicholas had easy access to the materials used for creating the bomb. The materials consist of ammonia nitrate, fertilizer, and fuel oil. McVeigh did use a double the amount of fuel when he committed his act for the bombing. And as you can see, we have Timothy McVeigh on the left-hand side and Terry Nicholas on the right-hand side. Discussion of the victims. Victims included military personnel, federal employees, civilians, visitors, and children. The emotional and psychological toll on the survivors, first responders, and families will be long-lasting. The youngest survivor victim was 18-month-old P.J. Allen. After the bombings, he was in and out of hospitals for later injuries, and today Allen works as an airplane technician for Tinker Air Force Base. He is actually pictured in the lower right-hand side. That is him today. McVeigh chose the 19th for the attack due to the date being the 2-year anniversary for the 1993 Waco siege. McVeigh also chose Alfred P. Murrah Building due to its symbolization of government oppression, and he actually wanted to make a statement against it. Impact Aftermath. The event shifted public discourse about the anti-government rhetoric and violent radicalization. McVeigh was arrested after being pulled over by Oklahoma State Trooper. The trooper did recognize the plate was missing from the getaway vehicle and the inclination of a weapon in the vehicle. While in custody, investigators were able to link the rented Ryder truck to a body shop in Junction City, Kansas. Workers were able to provide a description of the renter, which investigators used to connect to the description of McVeigh. There was traces of chemicals used in the bombing on McVeigh's clothes and a business card, which he had written, quote unquote, TNT at $5 per stick. Need more, which is written on it. McVeigh also claimed sole responsibility for the bombing as well. McVeigh was found guilty for 11 counts pertaining to the bomb. In 2001, McVeigh was executed by lethal injection. In the case for Terry Nicholas, he was convicted in 2004 under 161 counts of first-degree murder and is sentenced now for 161 consecutive sentences. Government response. After the attack, various government agencies and law enforcement worked together to ensure all victims would be justified for the traumatic event that occurred. President Bill Clinton signed the Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act of 1996 on April 24, 1996. I did speak on this in the last presentation. The act would later transform into the USA Patriot Act, which ensures that the use of surveillance and the use of technology, but not overly using it over to not to go against civil liberties. Um, they also implemented the Alfred P. Murrah Memorial, which is picturized right here in the bubble. On April 19th, each year, families of the victims or the surviving victims come together and recognize the ones that have not made it through that bombing. Connection to the course themes. We can connect the terrorist attacks to the context of our textbook, Understanding Homeland Security by Gus Martin, 4th edition. McVeigh framed his attack as a political warfare, not an act of violence. However, targeting a federal building with a daycare center demonstrates the detachment nature of his extremist violence. The attack itself was motivated by domestic terrorism. It also reflects the characteristic of a lone wolf extremist. The impact of the attack resulted in an increased awareness of the right-wing military base. From a criminal investigator point of view, which I've learned in previous classes, the investigators did create a racial profile, assuming the attacker would be an individual of a Muslim background, which is very incorrect and is not and should not be used today, as racial profiling holds stigma and stereotypes against a person.